You're watching the Astrology Weather Station. My name's Summer Chen, and since it's Leo season, the sign of the spotlight will be tying this month's forecast to well-known public figures. While the times I present are for Pacific Standard Time, you can use the preloaded spreadsheet below to generate the time for your city's transit. Just search for your location's UTC offset number. Make sure to include whether it's negative or positive. For example, currently New York is -4. Add it under your UTC and hit enter. Let me know if you have any questions, otherwise we'll start with August 1st. On August 1st at 6:34 a.m., Cancer Venus squares Aries Saturn at 1 degree. Although this can be a difficult aspect, a positive manifestation can be seen through Florence Nightingale, the British nurse who dramatically improved sanitary conditions in military hospitals and had this exact aspect. Her Cancer Venus is where she's the caring nurse, but that Aries Saturn is that dose of reality where she has to be the one administering a painful shot. Aries is ruled by Mars, which is associated with sharp things like needles. Her Aries Saturn is also her pioneering work in setting new standards for nursing education, influencing hygiene policies, and healthcare reform worldwide. So you can think of this as tender toughness. Later in the day at 1:48 p.m., Cancer Venus squares Aries Neptune at 1 degree. Terry Crews, an actor who has a similar placement in his chart, Venus in Leo square Neptune in Scorpio, and this reminds me of his really famous scene in White Chicks, where he starts seeing 1,000 miles to his date, who he believes to be a white woman. However, this is so Venus square Neptune because Neptune represents illusions, and he's in love with a white woman who is actually a black man going undercover as a white woman. So here's that clip for reference.
To a little bit of music. Bro, how did you know? I love this song. Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past and I'm homebound. And I need you, and I miss you. And now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think time went past me by? 'Cause you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you.
Neptune is also associated with music and the fantastical, so him singing lyrics like "If I could fall into the sky," "I drown in your memory," all very Neptunian signatures because Neptunian is associated with water, the glyph being Poseidon's trident. On Wednesday, August 6th at 4:23 p.m., Mars ingresses into Libra, where it is in its sign of detriment, meaning the planet Mars, which is associated with autonomy, is now in the sign that is known for people-pleasing. It's an uncomfortable Mars to have, but I'm going to show examples of people who have had positive manifestations of this. On Friday, August 8th at 11:45 a.m., Libra Mars trines Gemini Uranus at 1 degree. A great example of someone who had this exact aspect is Bob Ross, who as a painter known for being such a gentle and soothing teacher, he became an internet meme. But before he became a painter, he had been in the US Air Force for 20 years, rising to be a master sergeant, where he's quoted as saying he was the one screaming at people, being a mean, tough person, and he promised himself that when he got away from all that, it wasn't going to be that way anymore. So you can see it was really difficult for the more personable nature of his Libra Mars, and it trines Gemini, which is known for multiple personas. And that Uranus shook things up, and he switched from the persona of being a sergeant to the complete opposite, a peaceful figure that people deeply resonated with and respected. So you can see how positive this air trine was in harmonizing a society and creating happy little trees together. Later the same day at 7:52 p.m., Libra Mars opposes Aries Saturn at 1 degree. So both Owen Wilson and Will Ferrell have Libra Mars and Aries Saturn in their charts. They were born about 16 months apart, and they don't technically have it in opposition within the exact range or orb, but they really exemplified it together in the movie Zoolander. Libra is ruled by Venus, which is the planet of beauty, so a model, and Mars is masculine energy, so Owen was a male model. And he has to go against Will Ferrell's character, an authority figure, Saturn, in the fashion industry, where he has this kind of more loud, egoic, brash energy that can come with Aries, which is actually ruled by Mars. And Saturn is exalted in Libra, so you can see Owen and Will have some common ground in the movie, being in fashion, but ultimately they do oppose and battle each other. So Libra Mars opposing Aries Saturn is like polished rebellion. On Saturday, August 9th at 12:55 a.m., the Aquarius moon opposes the Leo sun at 16 degrees, the Aquarius full moon. Andy Samberg, who is well known for Saturday Night Live, has this exact full moon in his chart. And you can see he really shines as the quintessential Leo sun as the dramatic, funny cop on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, opposing his boss, Captain Holt, played by Andrew Brower, who actually has Leo Venus opposing Aquarius Saturn. So I'm going to show a clip demonstrating their push-pull dynamic.
I'm here. You can start the meeting now.
The meeting is over. You're late. You missed roll call and the tutorial on using the new copier. 6 years, and no matter how hard I try, I still can't get you to understand the importance of being punctual.
Maybe you should just give up and accept me for who I am?
No, I will break you right now.
Ow.
While you were out being tardy, I was hard at work devising a special punishment. I've crafted an intricate, personal high five with everyone in this office except you.
What? But you hate high fives.
Yes, every minute of it was hell. But it'll be worse for you. Squad, dismissed. Goodbye, DS.
Salute into a fanny waggle.
Goodbye, Boyle.
Oh, this snake charmer.
Goodbye, Jeffords.
That's a butt bump.
Goodbye, Santiago.
Double fist bump reverse explosion into a Pete Townsend strum. All right, that was terrible, but it's over now, and I made it through.
Goodbye, Leonard from Xerox.
What? No. The copy guy?
And funny enough, Terry Crews is in this show too. On the same day at 3:12 p.m., we have Libra Mars opposing Aries Neptune at 1 degree. The last time these two were in these signs at the same time was in the 1870s, so we're going to focus on the general aspect of Mars opposing Neptune, which is shared by the rappers 21 Savage, Playboi Carti, and Rap Monster, or RM from the K-pop group BTS. So Mars, again, masculine energy, rapping, directly connecting with the creative musical energy of Neptune. And you know, oppositions are tough, but they rap often about their ops or their opponents / opposition, and you can see how they were able to use that experience and positively channel that energy into their words. On Sunday, August 10th at 5:29 a.m., Libra Mars trines Aquarius Pluto at 2 degrees. And again, we have Mars involved in the chart of another rapper, Awkwafina, who has Mars and Pisces trining Pluto in Scorpio. And her most famous song is My Badge, which is a parody of Mickey Avalon's song My Dick. Both songs are perfect representations of both Mars and Pluto, which both have themes of sexuality related to them, but also subverting norms, shock value, assertiveness, and self-ownership. So the keywords for this are boundary breaker. On Monday, August 11th, right at the start of the day at 12:29 a.m., Mercury finally stations direct in Leo at 4 degrees, meaning it is no longer retrograde. But we still have the post-shadow phase where Mercury moves forwards over the degrees it went back on, so things might still be a little wonky until it leaves shadow on August 25th. Late in the evening at 8:31 p.m., Aries Saturn sextiles Gemini Uranus at 1 degree. This is where rigorous discipline meets groundbreaking flexibility, so the keywords are disciplined agility. And who better to represent that than the person who holds the most world championship gold medals by any gymnast, Simone Biles. She has a very similar aspect, Saturn in Aries sextiling Uranus in Aquarius instead of Gemini, but they're both air signs. And Aquarius is actually especially suited for a world stage. And her fiery commitment, her Saturn as self-mastery, is why, at the time of this recording, she has 2 bronze, 1 silver, and 4 gold Olympic medals. Only 2 hours later, at 10:30 p.m., Cancer Venus conjuncts Cancer Jupiter at 14 degrees, which is one of the most positive aspects this year, so our keywords for this aspect are abundant love. Drew Barrymore has a very similar Venus-Jupiter conjunction, except hers is in Pisces, which is also still a water sign, and I think this is really represented by one of the movies she stars in, 50 First Dates. And that is Venus, love, dating, and Jupiter, which symbolizes growth, expansion, and increased amount of things. So literally the same date with Adam Sandler over and over again. And Drew actually has many of her own beauty and product lines, including kitchen and home goods. On Thursday, August 14th at 7:04 p.m., Libra Mars sextiles Leo Mercury at 5 degrees. Our keywords for this aspect are magnetic dialogue. Nelson Mandela, South Africa's first Black president, had this same aspect, though at a different degree. Known for leading the fight to end apartheid, Mandela's Leo Mercury reflects the passionate voice he used to speak out for his people, while his Libra Mars symbolizes his lifelong pursuit of justice and equality. This Mercury-Mars sextile fueled bold, unifying speech, central to his role in rebuilding a nation and earning him the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. On Sunday, August 17th at 10:32 p.m., Leo Mercury sextiles Libra Mars again, this time 2 degrees later at 7 degrees. That's the exact degree of Malala Yousafzai's Mercury, who, like Nelson Mandela, also had it sextiling Libra Mars. Both are Nobel Peace Prize laureates known for their powerful voices and unwavering commitment to justice. Malala began advocating for girls' education at 11, survived an assassination attempt at 15, and went on to found the Malala Fund to continue supporting education around the world. With this shared aspect, we see how Leo Mercury sextile Libra Mars channels courage into diplomacy. So our keywords are diplomatic drive. On Friday, August 22nd, the Sun ingresses into Virgo at 1:33 p.m. And on the same day, about 9.5 hours later, at 11:06 p.m., the Virgo moon conjuncts the Virgo Sun at 0 degrees, the Virgo new moon. Rachel Ray, a celebrity chef, has both Virgo Sun and Moon, although hers isn't conjunct. Virgo is detail-oriented, and as a chef, you really need to pay attention to the details when it comes to cooking, like following recipes, ingredients, measurements, appliances all correctly. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is communicating and writing, and she's also a talk show host and author of over 25 cookbooks. Honorable mention goes to Nate Berkus, the world-renowned interior designer who also has both his Sun and Moon in Virgo. You also have to have an eye for detail doing interior design, making careful craftsmanship are keywords for this placement. On Sunday, August 24th, the Virgo Sun squares Gemini Uranus at 1 degree. Both signs are ruled by Mercury, again, the planet of writing and communication, and this exact aspect appears in the charts of Stephen King and Bernie Sanders. King channels it into eerie, otherworldly fiction, Sanders into powerful rallying speeches. While they've harnessed its power productively, this square can feel mentally intense. So our keyword is intellectual unrest. On Monday, August 25th at 9:27 a.m., Venus moves into Leo. And later in the day at 5:55 p.m., Leo Venus trines Aries Saturn at 0 degrees. Pamela Anderson has a very similar aspect, not an exact trine, but she has both Venus in Leo and Saturn in Aries. And Leo is the regal lion that claims the spotlight, and she was reportedly discovered on a Jumbotron at a BC Lions football game, and has since been the model most featured on the cover of Playboy magazines. But she's not just well known for her fiery and sexy beauty, she's also a prominent animal rights activist. Again, Leo as an animal, so her literal love of animals combined with the enduring commitment and steadfastness of Saturn, and she's been vegetarian since she was 13. On Tuesday, August 26th, we have 3 aspects involving Venus and Leo, all on the same day. At 1:58 p.m., Leo Venus sextiles Gemini Uranus. An hour and 20 minutes later, at 3:18 p.m., Leo Venus trines Aries Neptune. And at 10:53 p.m., Leo Venus opposes Aquarius Pluto. And all 3 of these aspects are at the 1st degree. For Leo Venus sextiling Gemini Uranus, we have the 43rd U.S. President of the United States, George W. Bush, with this exact aspect in his chart. Unfortunately for him, unconventional Uranus did not spare him, and there is an entire Wikipedia article on him titled Bushism, and I quote word for word the description: Bushisms are the unconventional statements, phrases, pronunciations, malaproposisms, and semantic or linguistics errors made in the public speaking of George W. Bush. Sextiles are usually more positive. In this case, the sextile with Uranus may not have been that great for him, but it's more positive for everyone else that they'll give you a good laugh. So our keywords for this aspect are erratic expression. An hour and 20 minutes later, at 3:18 p.m., Leo Venus trines Aries Neptune at 1 degree. We have another US president, 44th President Barack Obama, who has Venus in Cancer trining Neptune in Scorpio. So his Venus trine Neptune is in water instead of fire. And you can hear that kind of romantic, inspiring idealism in his campaigns, like Yes We Can, his book The Audacity of Hope, and one of his speeches titled A More Perfect Union. So the keywords we have for this are visionary charm. At 10:53 p.m., Leo Venus opposes Aquarius Pluto at 1 degree. When Venus opposes Pluto, this is an aspect where our love lives are afflicted. There's drama, maybe betrayal, controversy, your life is a little bit more subject to public scrutiny, and or you get pulled into other people's love drama. For example, a few celebrities who have Venus opposing Pluto natally in their charts include Sam Smith, Stephen Curry, Celine Dion, Ariana Grande, and Chris Martin, the lead singer of Coldplay. And as we all know, at his concert, on the day Mercury retrograde started, the affair of a CEO with his head of HR was exposed. So I wonder if around this time we'll see more public unravelings of love stories or relationship dynamics, especially on a world stage. On Thursday, August 28th at 5:08 p.m., Aries Neptune sextiles Gemini Uranus at 1 degree. And Adam Savage, an industrial design and special effects designer known for the show Mythbusters, has a similar aspect where he has Scorpio Neptune sextiling Virgo in Uranus. Neptune is that unsurety of whether something is real or not, like the myth, and it's also creativity, visionary imagination. It's in a positive aspect with Uranus representing radical technology, so he's able to create all these fantastical experiments with his team, like the rocket car. Uranus can also be related to explosions, and there was a lot of that in the series. And that is all our major aspects for August. Let me know if you have any of these aspects in your own chart or how they play out for you during transits. If you find these helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.